Hello everybody, my name is Caterina and I just joined the MateCat team as Customer Success Manager. Today I'm happy to welcome you to our webinar about MateCat Advanced Features. I'm here with Claudia Di Lorenzo. Hi Claudia.
Hello.
Claudia will provide an in-depth look at some of the features that make MateCat stand out. The session of today will have a duration of 45 minutes and will be divided into three main sections. So, first of all, you'll learn how to manage machine translation engines and language resources, both private and public. Then you'll find out which tools are available for QA and how MateCat uses machine learning to automatically place tags in the target text. Following that, Claudia will provide an overview of the project management features. Now, before we start, if you do have any questions at all, please feel free to type them into the question and answer interface at any point during the presentation. We'll try to answer as many of your questions as possible at the end of the session.
Well, thank you, Caterina. Thank you for the introduction, and welcome all of you here to this webinar. I'm very excited because this is actually a very different webinar respect to the others that we have been doing so far. We have been receiving a lot of requests on maybe the advanced features that MateCat has for you as a professional and for you as an LSP, and so that is why we decided to do a webinar that is completely dedicated to this, and not just, you know, something that is very, let's say, superficial to learn how to start using MateCat. So I think that we can get, you know, just started. And the first thing that obviously you can do is go to www.matecat.com with me if you want to try, so that you have the possibility to create your own project as well while you're following this webinar, and maybe come up with other interesting questions that you may have. So, as I was saying, the first thing that I did is I went to www.matecat.com. It's very simple and straightforward, as this is obviously an online cat tool, but I'm sure that many of you already know this, since you have maybe been following the other webinars we have been doing for MateCat. And I wanted to have, you know, a look at the different settings and the advanced features that we have in MateCat that maybe we do not have much time to look into detail with the other webinars. So the first thing that I want to show you is here the settings, the settings button that you have on the home page. When you click on the settings button, you have the possibility to have a look at the translation memories and terminology in MateCat. You can also have a look at the machine translation and the advanced option that we're going to see in detail in a little while. But the first thing that I wanted to see with you is the possibility of using translation memories in MateCat that can be public and private as you wish, and how to maybe make them private, not to share any detail with other users in MateCat, and how you can protect your data. Now, this is a very common issue, common question that comes when using MateCat. So, is MateCat secure? Is MateCat safe? Well, the first thing that I want to say is yes. You have the possibility with MateCat to protect all your data that you put in, all the translations that you do, in a very simple and easy way. So the first thing that you can do to protect your data is click on the Add Resource button here. Now, the Add Resource button gives you the possibility to create a sort of password. A password means that you're creating a private vault for you. Something that is going to be kept private and that only you can access, or other people that you decide can access to this private vault. So the only thing that you need to do here is click on Add Resource, and as you can see, you have an alphanumeric string that is automatically created. That means that this is sort of password. It's like a credit card, you know, the credit card number that you have on the credit card. This is exactly the same thing. You don't want to share it with anybody else, and you want to keep it private. And this is exactly what this alphanumeric string does. You just click on Confirm, and maybe you want to give a name to the memory that you are creating. Let's say that we're going to call it Advanced Features. And you just click on Confirm. Now, when you click on Confirm, you have created the translation memory, a private translation memory for your projects. Now you're ready to start with this translation memory selected to translate any document that can be private and needs to be kept confidential, and gives you the possibility to work directly in MateCat in an easy way by keeping all the documents, all the translations right here in this private translation memory. Well, obviously, it may happen that you want to also maybe add another translation memory. Well, the translation memory settings and the terminology settings that MateCat has are very advanced indeed, and it's very neat to have a look at them in detail. So let's say that I have created, for example, this translation memory for this webinar in particular and for this job in particular, but I also have, like, for example, here, other resources that I have created maybe for other jobs that could be useful. So as a translator myself, what I did is I started creating a translation memory when I started working as a translator, and I keep using it for all the jobs because it gives me useful matches. It has researches that I have already carried out in the past for other clients, and maybe some good and useful suggestions. So the best thing that I can do is just select the other translation memories that I have created in the past, and I'm going to be able to use them in my MateCat project. So for example, I have this other TM, this confidential TM, and let's say webinar TM. So I'm just going to keep these 4 active in the project, and I can actually look them up all together and get suggestions from all of these translation memories all at once. I can also decide one very nice thing. You see these three ticks here. Well, you have the possibility to enable a TM, and this is what I did. I have enabled these 4 TMs. I have the possibility to look them up as well, and I have the possibility to update them as well. Let's say that, for example, this confidential TM, I want to get matches from, but since it's confidential and maybe it's a client's TM, I don't want to update it. I can also decide to just not update this TM by just unticking this box here, but I can still get matches from this TM that could be very, very useful for my job. So I have these 4 TMs all together, and let's say that this confidential TM is very good because it's the client's TM, and I want to give this TM priority. So let's say that I just move this up and saying that the advanced features TM has #1 place, but then if I have, like, for example, 2 100% matches coming from 2 different TMs, what I'm going to get first is this one coming from the confidential TM, and then the others coming from other TM and webinar. I can also decide maybe to just, not update both or none of them, and I can also decide just to not look up some of them. So I'm actually able to manage the TMs as best as I can according to my needs without any problem at all, by just ticking the boxes that I need for this particular translation job. As you can see here, we have also my memory. Well, my memory is the largest public translation memory in the world that is made up of professional suggestions that may be coming in from other professionals that have decided to contribute to this translation memory, but also from matches coming from very useful websites that have been translated by professionals. So let's say that we started crawling the web, aligning, websites like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and sites like that can actually be very useful when translating. Because what would you do? You just would go to Google and start, looking for a word or a term that you have in your translation to understand how you can translate it. Well, consider that my memory is something that you already have there. You have it as a suggestion, and you can get terminology from it and suggestions from it without having to go on Google and look for something in particular. So this is very, very useful. As you can see here, however, you are able to enable it, look it up. But once you have created your own private translation memories, like I did here with my 4 private translation memories, I am not updating the public translation memory. So no worries if you think that you are contributing to it, because actually you're just getting matches from it to have your work done quicker and faster, but you're not contributing to it. You're not updating the translation memory at all. So the only ones that you are actually updating here are the advanced features that I have just created. And let's say that I want to update the webinar translation memory. So this is pretty nice. Now, it always happens, well, not always, but it's very often happens that a big client has a translation memory of its own. And the client sends it to us in order to be able to get matches for maybe past jobs that have been carried out, and in order to keep consistency throughout the translation that you're carrying out as well. So the best format that I'm sure that, the format that they're sharing is usually a TMX format. Well, with the TMX and with the Add Resource button, you have the possibility to upload the client's translation memory or your own private translation memory in just a few clicks. And I'm going to show you how. Let's say that I'm going to add, like, for example, another resource here. And I'm going to have, clients TM. And I click on confirm, and I have it here. And I decide to import a TMX that the client has sent me. So the only thing that I have to do is click on import TMX and choose the file that I want to import. So I have prepared one right here. I just click on open and click on confirm, and in just a few seconds I have the translation memory uploaded in my private key. Exactly, that's it. It says import complete, and you have the translation memory uploaded. Well, this is very nice and straightforward. You have the possibility to upload as many translation memories, as many TMX as you wish that could be useful for you. And you can also decide to upload, a lot of TMX in just one key. So let's say that, the client sends us also a TMX for another language combination. You can upload it here directly, because this key actually represents a multilingual translation memory, and automatically MateCat is going to give you the match in that certain language combination according to the project that you create and according to the languages that you use in the project. So you can upload as many TMX as you want. Another very nice feature that you have here is the possibility to upload a glossary. Now, it happens that you have to create it before doing a translation job, but it also happens that the client already has a glossary that has been, agreed with, and you need to just upload it in order to be able to use it while translating in MateCat. Well, this is why it is called resource, because the resource can contain a translation memory, but also a glossary that you can upload very easily right here. You can, let's say, import a glossary, and it's just a normal Excel file format, okay? So you have 2 columns, and, well, actually 3 columns. You have the source, the target, and in the 3rd column, you have the possibility to put in comments to upload. So I'm going to choose the file that I want to upload that I have already here, that is called glossary, glossario in Italian. I click on open, and again, in just a few seconds, I'm going to have the glossary directly uploaded in the key, in the private key that I have created for my clients. So I'm ready and set with all the translation memories. I have a lot of them. And since this is the client's translation memory, let's give it a sort of high priority. So everything that is coming from the client's translation memory is going to have priority against the advanced features and the other TMs that I have active in my job. So here I am, and I have created the translation memories for my jobs. I also have the possibility here to pre-translate all 100% matches that are coming from the translation memory, so that, I don't have to actually have a look at them, or maybe I do, I just have a quick overview on the 100% matches that are coming from the TM, but I don't have to translate them. So you can actually do this very easily. But let's say that, I just want to check all the matches and I want to carry out my own translation without considering the matches, without pre-translating the matches. And I think that we're ready to go on to the other tab that you find up top here, and it's machine translation. Now, machine translation is actually very useful if you're translating, a job in MateCat. You can obviously deactivate it if you do not need it, but machine translation is actually getting very useful in getting quicker in carrying out your job. So this is something that you may want to just enable. You're just going to get let's say, facilitate it in the translation job. And you can also decide maybe to use another machine translation engine and not MyMemory, because MyMemory not only is a professional translation memory, but it also gets machine translation from Google Translate and Microsoft. So if you maybe do not want to use it, the only thing that you have to do is just tick this button here and deactivate machine translation. But maybe you have a custom engine that you want to use in your translation memory. You have a lot of, a whole lot of MT engines that have been integrated directly in MateCat. Here are a few providers. Now, if you want to use one of them, the only thing that you have to do, let's say that I want to try this one, the only thing that you have to do is, insert the engine name and the key that you should receive from, the person who has created the MT engine. We have this one that you can use actually for free. And I'm going to put in the name and the key here, so that I'm just going to show you what it looks like. You can actually find this data in the support on www.matecat.com without any problem. So if you want to give it a try and use one of these machine translation engines, you can do it without any problem. So I have put in the key, I click on confirm, and here I am. I have the available MT engines, that is Apertum and MyMemory as well. Only one machine translation engine can be used at a time. So I have this one, and I can also decide to use, MyMemory, and this one is going to be deactivated automatically. So let's say that I'm pretty happy with using MyMemory in this case, because I'm used to it. I like the quality of the machine translation that is coming out, and I also want to get matches from the professional translators. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to stick to this. Let's get to the other tab. After having seen the machine translation tab, let's get to this tab. That is the advanced options. Well, the advanced options are these: dictation, guest tag position, QA, and segmentation rule as well. Well, dictation is actually very neat and gives you the possibility to just, transform your speech into text while using MateCat. So without having to use a keyboard. Some translators actually prefer doing this, and because it's a little bit quicker and straightforward, but others don't. So you have the possibility to activate or deactivate it without any problem. And then we have the guest tags position that is actually activated here, QA by Lexica that I'm going to activate, and segmentation rules. Segmentation rules actually gives you a sort of segmentation type that you can decide you want to prefer. For example, patents have other segmentation rules with respect to other standard files. So if you're translating a patent, this is going to be, something that you want to tick before creating your translation project. But I'm going to stick to general. And I have seen more or less, all the advanced settings that I can have in MateCat as a professional and as an LSP. So I have created my translation memories, I have uploaded my TMX, I have uploaded my glossary, I have selected MyMemory as machine translation engine, and I have activated the guest tag position and the QA by Lexica. And I'm going to show you in just a short while what this is. So I click on close, and I'm actually ready now to create my translation project. So I have this document that I need to translate from English to US to Italian, let's say. The only thing that I have to do is click on Add File, or drag and drop the file that I want to translate. Let's say that I want to use this one, and click on Analyze. When I click on Analyze, what I'm doing is I'm segmenting the document that I have uploaded in segments again, and I'm analyzing the document. So I'm analyzing the document against MyMemory, against the machine translation engine, and also against the translation memories that I have uploaded. This gives me a weighted word count that is 441 against the raw word count in Word that is 613. Now I want to translate, this document, and I'm just going to go through the Translate tab very quickly to give you an idea of how the guest tags function and the QA by Lexica is working. That is very, very useful for translators. But before doing so, I'm just going to show you the translation matches that I'm getting here. You see, this is the client's TM, and it has priority against the others. And I have uploaded a TMX, and actually this TMX already contains a 100% match. I can see it here, but I can also see it here. And I have pre-populated this target segment because this is a 100% match. I just, check the translation, and I click on translated, and I go on to the next segment. It's very easy and straightforward. But I have also uploaded, I think, a glossary in my private translation memory. So let's see how the glossary is actually shown in MateCat while you are translating. Now, note that the glossary contains this term because I have created it, and it's segmentation. You see that it's really slightly underlined, and you have the glossary that has 1 right here. This means that this term, there is a term that is in this segment that is actually added to the glossary. And here it is, segmentation, that needs to be translated as segmentazione. So I have segmentazione here, and I click on translated, and I go on to the next segment. Now here, for example, I have machine translation that is coming up because there were no matches in my translation memories, and the best would be the machine translation that is coming from my memory. So it says that translation memory works at the sentence level. La memoria di traduzione funziona a livello di frase. That is, let's say, more or less correct, and I'm pretty happy with it. If not, I can go and, go and change it if I want. But let's say that I don't want this, and I'm not using the capital letter here. You see what happens? This is the fantastic QA that is integrated directly in MateCat. It's going to give you the possibility to see exactly what the mistakes may be from a punctuation point of view, from capital letters point of view, from numbers point of view, and you have everything, just highlighted here. But you also have like this exclamation mark that says, hey, there's something not working in this in the QA. You want to see what happens? So I click on translated, and I still have this lexica 1 that means that I have 1 mistake. And maybe I want to go to the full report. I click here, and it's going to tell me exactly the language combinations, the words that I have translated so far. And here at the bottom, you see exactly the problems that you have in the target segment, the mistakes that you may have done, because in a hurry, because you wanted to concentrate on something else for the moment, and then you go through the translation and want to correct these aspects. So you have, for example, this one, and the punctuation at the end. All of these types of errors are highlighted in a different color to give you an idea at first sight what the problem may be. Now, in order to correct it, maybe you just don't want to go through the entire document again, the only thing that you have to do is click on the ID here, and you're going to be taken directly to that segment so that you can go and, correct the issues that you have. I click on translated again, and you see there's nothing more that QA is highlighting actually because I have corrected my mistakes. But another very, very nice feature that you have in MateCat is the guest tags position. Now, I really understand what pain translating with tags is. You have so many tags in a few documents that you really don't want to, work with because it's just not giving you the possibility to concentrate on the translation itself. You have all these tag errors. You have all these tags in the source and the target. You're not really concentrating on the sentence, and you're not concentrating on making your translation streamlined and clear because you have like all these tags in between. So MateCat actually, thanks to artificial intelligence, was able to implement what we call the guest tags feature. Well, the guest tags feature hides the tags so that you can concentrate exactly on the translation. You can concentrate on providing a good translation, and then it's going to guess the tags, the position of the tags for you, so that you just need to check that everything is correct. Now let's have a look, for example, at a segment that has tags. Let's say this. Instead of having the translated button here, you have guest tags. So the source says how we use the TM during the localization process, And the translation that is coming from actually machine translation says, come usiamo la TM durante il processo di localizzazione. This is actually a pretty good translation, so I can concentrate on it. Maybe I want to say memoria di traduzione instead of TM. So, come usiamo la memoria di traduzione durante il processo di localizzazione. I have concentrated on the translation and I have not seen anything else. I didn't see any tag in the source or in the target. The only thing that I have to do is click on this guess tag position here, and it's going to automatically show me the tags in the source and guess the exact position in the target. That is pretty neat, isn't it? So you do not have to worry about tags anymore. MateCat is going to do this job for you. If, for example, you have a tag mistake, let's say that by mistake I erased this tag, it's going to tell me immediately that there is something wrong. So with the minus and minor and major sign on your computer, you can decide what tag you want to insert in a drop-down menu. These are the tags that are in this segment, that can be used in this segment, and I understand that it's just a G, the final G, the closure G. So I just select it, and I have no mistakes anymore. The only thing that I have to do once again is click on Translated and go on to the next segment. Now this is one of the nicest features I have seen actually in MateCat. I have enjoyed it myself a lot because of the problems that you always have with the tags, and it worked very well. So I just really suggest that you use it and tell us what you think about it. But it's very, very simple and straightforward. But let's see what else. I have talked about glossaries, and I saw that this, for example, was a term that was inserted in the glossary. But so let's say, for example, that I have this glossary term here that is segment, and I told you at the beginning that the glossary can be composed of 3 columns. That is the source, the target, and if you want, a column that includes comments. And this is actually a term that was included in the glossary that had a comment. So I have segment that needs to be translated with that has to be translated with segmento. And I also have a comment here that says the segment is the smallest unit of text that can be reused when working with the TM. This is actually a description of the term segment. That is actually also the source text here. But this is very useful for context. So let's say that, for example, you're translating, I don't know, a game, an app, and the client gives you a glossary with useful comments to understand the context of a term so that you know exactly how to translate also the rest of the sentence. This is very, very useful in order to understand what the context is and translate the sentence in the correct way. So this is basically, what the translation interface looks like. We have seen the translation memories here. We had a few matches at the beginning. We had a few glossary terms. But what if I want to add, for example, a glossary term on the fly? I want to just contribute to the glossary I have created in order to maybe remember that I have translated one term in a certain way for future segments. The only thing that I have to go is click on the glossary tab, and I just want to add, for example, units of text that always needs to be translated in unità di testo. I click on the plus button, and I have added this glossary item to my glossary that I can export anytime and maybe hand it out to the client and say, okay, I have updated the glossary for this job. Maybe it's going to be useful for you to understand what I did. And this is exactly what you can do. So this is, the main parts of the advanced features, but there is actually one thing that I wanted to show you that is pretty new in MateCat. That is the management panel. Now the management panel here has been changed a little bit in order to meet a few needs that maybe project managers may have, but also people that are collaborating with other translators on MateCat. And this is something that can be done very easily as well. Now, as you can see here, you have this personal tab. This means that I'm actually creating all my jobs in my personal account in MateCat. But let's say that you are working for a translation company and you want to share all the projects that you create in MateCat with also your colleagues. The only thing that I have to do is create a new team. Now let's say that me and Caterina are going to be a team right now, and I'm going to call this team Webinar Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have created this, and I'm going to add Caterina to my team. So it's me and her. It's me and her who are going to belong to this team. And everything that I create is going to be also seen by Caterina, and everything that Caterina creates is going to be seen by me as well. So let's create another project very quickly, just to understand how this works. I'm not going to apply translation memory. I'm just going to quickly upload a document and click on Analyze and create this project. I have now created a new project that is going to be shared with Caterina. So when I click on the Manage button here, I have this one project that belongs to Webinar Wonder Woman and is actually assigned to me. Maybe I want Caterina to manage this translation, for example. The only thing that I have to do is assign it to someone else. Oh, you didn't accept my invitation, so that's why.
Sorry.
So I'm just going to reassign it to me, and that's pretty simple. So Caterina knows that I'm actually managing this translation request. And I have these 441 words that I want to translate from English to Italian. And I actually don't have translators except me that can do this job for me. The thing that I can do from this panel is actually assign it to another translator, or maybe outsource it to translated.net. You actually can decide. So if you want to assign it to your translator, let's say that I'm going to, I don't know, Caterina, are you available for this translation really quick? Can I assign it to you?
You can count on me.
Great.
Sure.
So I'm just going to assign this as a translator to Caterina. And I say that she has to deliver this translation. Well, tomorrow is a good date. I need it by tomorrow at 1. Is that okay for you?
It's fine.
Okay,
yes.
good. It's 441 words, so I think you can manage. So you just click on continue and you send it to the translator. And I have just sent this job directly to Caterina, who is going to receive an email that says, hey, I have this job. Would you like to do it? And you know exactly here who is managing this job and when it's going to be delivered. But let's say that Caterina is not available anymore, and I don't know actually who to assign this to. You can actually decide to assign it to translated.net by just clicking on this ORD button here, and you will have the translation ready tomorrow at 4 p.m. at this cost. Otherwise, you decide to just assign it to someone else. So you can choose the other translator who is going to translate this document and send, you know, the link to MateCat directly to this other translator. Every time that you change vendor, we're going to create a different password. So basically, the translator who is going to take care of this translation is going to receive a link that is password protected, let's say. Every time I change translator, I'm going to also change the password. So if you have assigned it to someone else, so let's say I'm going to assign it to translated, Caterina is not going to be able to access this document anymore. And this is very nice and very useful when you have, you know, you're doing rush jobs. But another nice thing that you can actually do is decide to maybe split the document, because you need to deliver this like in about 2 hours to the client, and Caterina cannot do the entire work. So you can decide to just click on split and decide that you want to send it to 2 different translators. You click on check, you click on confirm, and actually you're going to have 2 different links that can be assigned to 2 different translators that can work in real time together and can share the same translation memory that I have applied here, and so can actually deliver in no time to the client. Now this is a very neat and very nice feature. You have a lot of other features that you can access from the management panel. Not only, create your own team for your company or maybe for your team of colleagues that you work with more often, but also decide, for example, to have a QA report on a certain segment, the editing log. You can download the preview at any time. And you can also export the XLeaf, the TMX of the job, and you can also decide to cancel this job. I think we're running a little bit late, Caterina. I don't know you, but I would say a lot of things. I would say a bunch of things about MateCat. I could continue just talking for hours and hours, but I think maybe we can concentrate on the questions right now. What do you think?
Yes, I also think so, because we have some questions which have been coming in.
Good.
Some of them have already been answered by you during the presentation.
That's good.
But let's have a look at some of other questions. So, for example, Mirko would like to know, in how many teams can one be?
Oh, I think that there's no limit to the number of teams that you can be in, actually. You can create as many teams as you want, and you can decide, obviously, to have just one team with you and someone else. You can decide to have a team with your translation agency. There's actually no limit at all in this. So you can create as many teams as you want. Maybe you want to create also a team per client. So you have translators and project managers who work for a certain client, and you could create a team per client as you wish.
Okay, great. Well, I think we have time for the very last question.
Well, another few, I'm sure.
Okay, so Elizabeth would like to know, I have imported a glossary into a project and want to be sure that it can't be downloaded by the translators working on the project, as it contains confidential data.
Yes.
We only want them to work with it during the project and not to be able to share it.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. This is a very, very good question. So let me tell you one thing. Whenever you create, let's go to the home page, back to the home page again. Whenever you create your own private translation memory, let's say that I want to have, let's post this client's TM here, and I have imported the TMX here. And I want to, for example, create a project with this TM. I'm the only one who is going to be able to see this. So let's go back to the project that I have created. I'm sorry. Let's get back to my personal area where I have created this other job. And here it is. This is the project that I have created. I see that I have a private translation memory here because I see the TM here, and I have all the keys, and I'm able to see it. But let's say that I want to, for example, outsource this to, I'm going to use another email address that I have, that is the translated.net address, and I'm going to share it, with myself. Whenever I send it to me, let's see if I have already received it. I'm going to my MateCat tab here, and I should have received this translation request by, the other account. Let's see how it looks like. A lot of projects. Let's see if I see it here somewhere. Maybe it's a little bit easier if I do this. Okay, I'm just going to copy this link, and I'm going to open it in an incognito window so that you see exactly how this works. So I'm going to just open a guest page here. And I'm going to see the analysis, and then, I'm sorry, I'm not in the right tab. I wanted to open an incognito window, not a guest window. It's a little bit different. Uh-oh. Here I am. Here I am. Here it is. So I'm just going to copy and paste this link that I have here. Oh, I didn't even get the right link. I'm sorry. It wasn't this. Let's do it this way. So it's this one, right? So this is the link that I want to have, that I want to open. And now I want to use an incognito window to open this. Here it is again. So this is the link to the job that I have created with the private translation memories. Now I get the matches from the translation memories, okay? But I'm actually not able to download the translation memory from this. And if I click on Add Private Resource here, you see that the keys are actually hidden because these do not belong to me. These private translation memories only belong to you, and there is no way that nobody can, get to these numbers and to these private translation memories, but just, profit and gain from the translation memory matches that you have in the job. So I'm pretty sure that when you do just share this link with your translators, they're not going to be able to just download the translation memories that you have uploaded in this key or download the glossary. You can only download what refers to this job in particular, and that's it. So it's going to be kept private anyways. If you want to share a resource, however, let's go back to the MateCat here that I have. Here it is. If you want to share a resource, when you go to the home page, let's put this back. Okay, so you get on the settings page and you decide that you want to, for example, share this client's TM. You can decide to share the resource right here. You can put the email address you want to share this with. And only Caterina, in this case, is going to be able to see this client's TM, and it's going to be able to download the entire TM and the glossary associated to this key. But you have decided to share it, nobody else.
Okay, thank you so much, Claudia. I'm sure Elizabeth will be more than satisfied with your explanation. I'm sorry we do not have any time, so I think it's all the questions we have time for today. But should you have any further question on the tool or any feedback on how we can improve, feel free to send an email to info@matecat.com.
Yep.
We will make sure we answer all of your questions on the MateCat blog or in the upcoming newsletter. So stay tuned for that.
Oh yes, interesting.
So what's the next step now? It's easy. You can start translating right away with MateCat by going to www.matecat.com. And remember, there is no need to register or to install anything. You just go to matecat.com and then choose the language pair, upload your files, and start translating. So if you need any help, send an email to support@matecat.com at any time. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Caterina, for hosting this webinar. It was very interesting.
Good. So thank you once again. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.